Identifying the limiting reagent in a chemical reaction is essential to determine the maximum amount of product that can be formed. Here's how to identify the limiting reagent. Write and balance the chemical equation. Start by writing and balancing the chemical equation for the reaction. Ensure that the coefficients represent the correct stoichiometry of the reactants and products. Determine the moles of each reactant. Convert the mass or quantity of each reactant into the moles using their respective molar masses. The number of moles is calculated using the following formula. Find the mole ratio. Examine the balanced chemical equation to determine the mole ratio between the reactants. This ratio is based on the coefficients in the equation. Calculate expected product yield. Calculate the theoretical yield of the product for each reactant by multiplying the number of moles of that reactant by the appropriate mole ratio from the balanced equation. Compare actual to theoretical yields. Compare the calculated theoretical yields for each reactant. The reactant that produces the smallest theoretical yield is the limiting reagent because it limits the amount of product that can be formed. Excess reactant identification. To identify the excess reactant, subtract the theoretical yield of the limiting reagent from the actual amount of the reactant used. The reactant with excess remaining is the excess reactant. Consider additional factors. In real-world scenarios, factors like purity of reactants, reaction conditions, and side reactions can influence the limiting reagent. Carefully assess these factors to ensure accurate identification.